Okay. Um, to start off with, we got the one and only DJ Jelly. The one and only DJ Jelly. I don't
What's
know
up?
what's happening, man.
I can't call it, man. Glad to be here breathing.
You know what? I'm excited. Me and you, we talk a lot, but this right here is. I just want to start off by saying I appreciate you taking our time for us to just talk with you and get to see what you got going on. You know what I'm saying right now. In these days and times with all this stuff going on.
Oh yes, I'm just chilling, man. Able to stay in the mix, with something I love to do, the music, you know what I'm saying? So I got everything going on from a streaming site with all my mixes to, doing work with a lot of artists and a lot of the OG artists, might I add, right about now. So, just keeping stuff rolling. Cool. Yeah, about to drop a mix CD with Kilo Ali. Been working on
baby.
Yeah, Kilo Ali. Been working on a music project with Wicked from Ghetto Mafia. Currently got a single out. About to drop another one in a couple of weeks. A song called Grinding with him and Kane from Ying Twins on it. That's jamming. Man, been working on a festival called the Weirdo Fest that I'm shooting for October of 2021. And the Weirdo Fest is basically a lot of eclectic artists that'll be performing. It'll be an actual festival. So we're getting ready for that a year from now, which really the time is going to end up flying by because you got to handle all the legal work and make sure everything is situated. And then, like I said before, I got the streaming site, mixtapemobsters.com with me, Assault, and DJ Monte. So we got all the old classic Freaknik booty shake CDs from back in the early 90s all the way up until now. And of course, Big On Records, the label itself, has a new artist called Wix that's about to drop. So it's a whole new resurgence of Big On Records, as well as a new Baby D project. So it's about to be crazy, that we just wrapped up.
Okay. So with the Weirdo, the fest, it will be, of course, here in Atlanta, or are you planning on having that?
Right now we're looking at either Griffin, Georgia, or in the heart of Atlanta. So we're trying to work, whatever one's going to be a better, situation. So we literally work on that right now. We're doing a kind of a warm up for it November 1st at the bonfire, the iconic bonfire on Sunday. So we'll be doing a kind of a sneak preview of what you can expect from the Weirdo Fest.
I will be there in the building.
I was definitely gonna say that.
That's gonna be my pre-birthday turn up.
Okay.
My birthday is November the 8th.
Oh well, yeah, you got to come. So, that also too, I just wrapped up a collab piece I did with Steady Hand Beer Brewery. So I'm into the microbreweries as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did a project, Black is Beautiful, which really, due to everything that's been going on with the unrest and, we've been dealing with all our lives. But now that all the social injustices are really coming to the forefront, some beer breweries wanted to make more of the Black brewers more inclusive.
Okay.
Because the micro beer world is not, Black people do it, but we're not known for that. And they wanted to basically kind of embrace it. They did this all across, and they did this all throughout the United States with a lot of breweries. So Steady Hand, which is one of my favorite breweries here in Atlanta, I did a collaborative piece called Black is Beautiful. We did a stout that's real dope. It has kind of a pecan tone to it. The taste is definitely good for the wintertime, and is dark, and it's coffee taste. It's good. It's real good if you're into beers.
Not me, but hey, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. I don't drink at all, so I'm not the right person to even go into that field.
You gotta let the world, world what goes on. Like DJs, are involved in a lot of things. And of course, I'm reconnected with Sir Classic, so we've been chopping up a few situations as well. So he's been helping out as well on my side. So that's
definitely. You have to tell, because we don't want people to know that, not beyond being a DJ, which is your first love, you being an entrepreneur as well. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. I want to go backwards. You know, for those that don't know who you are or probably been hiding under a rock somewhere, I want to take it back because in the whole movement of music, Southern music, you have been that force to bring up things. And I want to start off with, for those that don't know, let's just start off with, how did you get started in the business, or shall I say, how did you get started DJing? Let's start off.
I mean, it was simple. I grew up on hip hop. I'm a '70s baby. Hip hop became big in the '80s, and I was breakdancing and all that stuff. So those were the things that led me into, you know, just really hip hop. I love hip hop. I mean, from the MCing and the breakdancing to the DJing. So DJing is what really stuck because I started throwing parties. So I just like really networking with folks. So that, you know, the whole DJing thing, I was just like, you know what, this is a good way to really interact with folks. Really, really interact with folks, you know.
You get in the loop of things, basically.
Right. You just be right in the mix. And I love music. So it was just kind of the key thing to dive into. And then, you know, fast forward from the 80s coming in the early 90s, going to college here in Atlanta. I'm originally from St. Louis.
St. Louis. I was getting ready to jump onto that.
Originally from the Lou, U City. And, you know, coming here, college in the early 90s, and Freaknik really starting to jump off, and really all the rap music really starting to jump off. I'm talking early, like literally 89 coming here. So I was just right in the belly of the beast, the eye of the storm, so to speak. And for me, you know, I got to end up getting a job at Bobby Brown Studio in 90.
Oh, wow.
End up City in 90. I mean, I just came right into it. Like, all that was my college, really. I just really died. I was right in the mix of it, fortunately.
Okay.
That was perfect. It was perfect timing. And it's like you came, and you came with your own sound, which was, you know, really risky, but it was great and it worked. Were you kind of nervous about that? Did you know, how did you get people to catch on? Because again, me coming from Cali, I knew I wanted to come to Atlanta. Like I said, Freaknik, for two reasons: DJ Jelly and Outkast. That's all I knew. I was like, I gotta get to this music. See, it was a whole different flavor than my West Coast music, you know. And when we heard it, it was like, wait, you know, it took us a minute, and we was like, you know, they really catch on, but we was like, oh shit, no, this is something we got to get into. Right. And yeah, you know. So what made you say, yeah, I'm gonna go this route?
I mean, really just running into people, you know, fortunate enough, my partner, MC Assault, ran into him. He wanted to kind of basically take over the mixtape game during the early 90s, because the J team, shouts out to Edward J, Smurf, Kizzy Rock, Lady DJ, all of them. He was like, man, I want to take these folks out and really, you know, really run the streets. And then me and him just really collab. We put our ideas together, man. And from there, with our crew, we just, you know, was I nervous? I'm pretty sure I might have been, but I really didn't care, because, you know, I'm straight out of high school. So I was just like, I was down for whatever.
Wow.
The balls to the wall. I was just like, I'm you know, I done came from St. Louis. I'm like, I'm here. I'm not trying to do nothing else. Realistically. Didn't really know where it was going to go, but I really, you know, at the moment I was into, you know, creating a movement. I just knew what I enjoyed. I knew what I wanted other people to hear. I knew what I wanted to bring to the table as a DJ, because I love all kind of music. So, and the unique thing about the MC Assault DJ Jelly mixtapes was we made it more of a production. So we combined all different West Coast, old school R&B, New York. We could put all that in one thing. So we were doing what the kids call mashups, but we were doing that back then already. We was on it. So our particular mixtape style, we didn't do a lot of talking. It was just all appropriate. It was like creating an album, because like during that early 90s, The Chronic was a big influence. Dr. Dre is a big influence on me as a DJ, because I respect all his old school Live at the Swap Meet mixtape. I used to always listen to him. He used to always put together the mixes like he was making that. So that's what I basically was into. And then I used to listen to Ron G during that time with the blends. I always loved mixing. So I was just like, you know what, you know, I love music, so this is a tool for me to express myself musically, and that's what I used it for, the mixtape. And on top of that, more importantly, was to break music that I enjoyed. I wanted everybody else to hear, whether it was Outkast, whether it was 8 Ball MJG at the time, whether it was Memphis music at the time. You know, I used that to let the world know, hey, this is what I'm into. Y'all got to hear this. That was my approach.
Gotcha.
I mean, classic. Listen, he could tell you. I used to hit that flea market up. That's how we met. Early 90s. I would come for every Southern exposure. Just listen, every mixtape. I was like, I got it. You got to give it to me. I got to know what's next.
DJs were doing it at that time.
Yeah, you know, and I was taking it back to Cali because I was still going back home. You know, I was coming back and forth. So and they was like, what are you listening to? And I was like, you know, and I was telling Classic, anything new out, you got to give it to me. I was in his flea market like 24/7 on it. But I love it.
Those were the days.
Those was the days, man.
You mentioned something about working at Bobby Brown's studio. Let me guess, that was Boss Town.
Yep.
Okay. Now, when you went there, did you know, like, did you say, yo, I'm just finding a studio? Did you pick that particular studio to want to go?
There, I went on, we did a trip in college, and I went, and then we met, you know, the manager that was running Bobby Brown's studio, and then I got, you know, he was talking about music, and of course I was just on it. I wasn't shy about nothing. So he really liked my vibe. He was like, man, why don't you just, you know, you in college, why don't you just come and intern? I was like, cool, I'm there. So that worked out for a couple of months. You know, I got fired twice.
He said twice. How you get fired twice, man?
Yeah, all the artists used to come through there. I used to, you know, after I did my work with the engineers, I would stick around because all the artists would come and practice, and, you know, and I'll bring my turntable. They needed something, like, shoot, I'll keep it going. And them engineers didn't like that, boy. Little young, you know, black dude, all in the mix, being nosy. So it was all good. Shouts out to people Rice who saved me the first time from getting fired. And then shout out to my man DC. Whoop, there it is. He hired me. He was the head DJ at Magic. I got hired. When I got fired, it was the second time was coming around. I knew something was about to go down. So I went out looking in different clubs. I've never worked at a strip club in my life. So this was like spring of 90. And DC ended up hiring me a week after I got fired from Bobby Brown's studio for the second time. And it was just a blessing. Like, it just fell into place. So I was like, wow.
Let me ask you, with this, with going into be a DJ and going into that career choice, how was the support from your parents? Were they behind you saying, okay, yeah, you can do this, we're going to take you serious? Yeah,
they took me, they already knew what it was. Because, I mean, I ended up dipping from St. Louis. So they was with me 100%. So it was all, that was the blessing too. So, and then I'm just going to do it anyway, because that's just the kind of person I am. If it's something I want to do, I'm just going to do it.
I like that. That's what hip hop is all about. Hip hop is rebellious. It's about the youth. It's something I always heard this, but I want to hear from you. And it's about the rebelliousness. Being that you've helped break a lot of artists, I heard this one story about where L.A. Reid was upset with you because you went in the rebellious mode of playing Outkast's music. It was jamming, and you said, man, to heck with this. It wasn't actually put out, but you had access to it, so you was playing it on the radio, and they was like, why is he playing his music? Can you
Gip and Andre? Yeah, Gip and Andre brought it to me. I was over at Hot at that time DJing, and Gip and Andre pulled up on me. This was I got off I was Goody Mob first road DJ. We got off tour. I got hired at Hot. So then Andre and Gip was like, man, we gotta go get this to Jelly. It was a dub plate, meaning that it wasn't even no rec. It was a vinyl, but it didn't have no letters and no writing on it. It was just yellow blank. Anyway, that's what's called dub plates. So they gave it to me. I played that record for about 2 hours on and off.
Wow.
And what happened was that they weren't supposed to release it, but they knew I was gonna play it. And that ended up, the response became so crazy that ended up pushing the actual release date up.
Wow.
So my show, they eventually came, they did Poonam show after that, and the snowball kept rolling after that. But I was pumping the hell out of it. And LAP wanted me to get fired off the station, and shout out to Steve Hegwood. He made sure that I didn't get fired. He was like, well, you know, this is my DJs. a holiday mix. This is what we do. And from his conversation, that's what he told me. So I did get fired. So I was still rolling.
You gotta tell L.A. Reid, you doing him a favor. We want to hear that good music.
But you know what?
Doing him a favor.
Yeah, if you watch the documentary, he never liked that record, Elevators. That was the record. He never liked the sound of it.
That's one of my favorite records. That Me and You. That's one of my favorites, right? I still play that from time to time.
Yeah, but I saw a recent interview. He's like, man, he hated the way the rim sounded. It was loud. He said he hated it, but the world loved it. So you got to let the world decide on that kind of stuff, that music.
Wow. Let's go back because I want to bring, like I said, go back to bring it to the fore. Now, when you guys made that decision to say, for those that don't know, it's DJ Jelly, MC Assault. Y'all was the rival to, like you said, Edward J and the J Team, all them over there. How did that come about? Because I think that's when I first came to Atlanta, and I remember just hearing about you guys going back and forth. It was the J Team, and it was DJ Jelly, MC Assault.
Yeah, I think Smurf had said something about Smurf had ended up dipping in the early 90s going to college. And then I became the new man on the streets as far as DJ, me and Assault. And Smurf had made some kind of comment. He didn't really blatantly be like, oh, that, da-da-da. But he said something, I forgot what it was. The tape was called Jellyfishing, going jellyfishing and jellyfishing or something. Smurf gonna remember it. And so we was like, okay, well, he done said something, so we get ready to just go off. So the radio was turned up before that. It's like, if they do this, we're gonna do this and that. And that's all it took. That one little thing, and then it was a wrap after that.
Wow.
And then we came out with the 187 mixtape with the toe tag, and it had J Team. It was the picture from Ice Cube, one of Ice Cube covers where he had the toe. And we had the J Team on it. We just went in. We from the beginning, the whole 90-minute tape, we was talking about all of them, mixing it. We had Sammy Sam, all them folks rapping about the J Team. Dude just straight up went off on it.
Wow.
That was a classic DJ battle, an Atlanta DJ battle, classic.
People don't know that history. That's why because when you talk about Atlanta music, it's sad, but everybody starts off with Outkast and Goody Mob. They don't know about everything that became like you guys. They don't know about Ghetto Mafia. They don't know about the A-Town Hard Boys. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Yep. Everybody thinks Outkast and Goody Mob, So it's very important that, people know more about Atlanta than what has been, put out there.
They really know because that's what was mainstream for the most part. So they were going off of mainstream.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it's just that I think in terms of marketing, especially in the South, especially like Georgia, the marketing isn't that strong. And, we haven't really networked and really told all the stories like, say, a West Coast or say New York. We got to step up our game in terms of how we deal with the media. And we got to let people know as we all come up from whatever level, from whatever generation. You got to tell these stories of Atlanta. That's important.
Definitely. Now, let me ask you, speaking of that story, the documentary that Shaka Zulu was responsible for a couple years ago with VH1, do you think he did a just do on that documentary? In your turn, the documentary that Shaka and Luda was responsible for making for the, Atlanta, do you think they did well on telling that story?
I think as their interpretation, it was good. I'm not going to say it was incredible. I don't say it was groundbreaking, but that was a start. I felt that was a start, a good start.
Okay. Well, I did want to ask you, out of all the mixes that you've done to date, do you have a personal favorite mix that you say this is
out my head? That's what I was waiting to ask him. I was like, let me make sure we done with this because I want to know.
Well, it's all good.
No. I do. I mean, all of the base game series I'm crazy about because of the time period. I like stuff like old school. I mean, there's several. One that I really, really, really that always sticks out in my mind would be Relax Your Mind Part 2.
Oh, wow.
top personal favorites of all time. Relax Your Mind Part 2. I probably did it back in like 2000 or something like that, 99 or something. But that's one of my personal top favorites. And that Kush Part 2.
Kush Part 2. Wow, I remember that.
Kush Part 2. Those two on our Relax Your Mind 2, Kush Part 2 is always going to be like probably some of my favorites ever.
Well, I got to throw in my two favorite mixes that you've ever done is the Michael Jackson mix. I still have the DVD, and the Tupac one that you did.
Yeah. Which one? I mean, you know, two. It was Thug Mix 1, 2, and 3. Then it was the Resurrection. I had like probably about 7 to 8 Tupac mixes.
Mine was the Resurrection.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And then the Thug Mix 1 and 2, you know, I had Pop on there. You know, he had reached out to me on my birthday back right before he got killed when he was in Vegas in '96. That was crazy. Yeah.
That's epic there. Let's talk about how you went, how the formation of the label came about, Big On Records. From DJ Jelly, you guys come in and Big On coming about. Tell us more about that.
Mixtapes, obviously, in the early 90s. And then maybe 2 years later, roughly, Big On came in the picture. We got introduced to a mutual friend of ours with Onk. And then Onk came, you know, he was like, cool, what y'all need? And then Salt was the brainchild of all of it. Man, let's put the label together. You know, he was just like, man, let's crank it up. Then we literally got all the people around us that work for us to get them involved as they became artists, like Intoxicated. And Sammy Sam, so this is about 93, 94, we started putting the ideas together because with Intoxicated, Sam started coming around, we put him on mixtapes. And so we just came up with the whole, you know, label situation. Assault kind of turned up Big On. He's like, man, makes sense, we just do a label, straight up. So then Sammy Sam was our first, Major Bank was our first project.
Release.
That was our first release. But Sammy Sam came after that and really just, this was Big On. Sam straight off the streets, straight from the streets. So that just made it all that what it is. And then Assault and Freddie B came with all the production. And I basically managed and coached and consulted all the artists on our label. Yeah. And then, of course, I threw all the events. I threw all the birthday parties at the 559, at the Bounce, Warehouse.
Man, them was the days. And you would see Big Oop Camp, people with their shirts, Big Oop Camp everywhere, man.
Black shirts and the black hoodies, the black shirts, all that. It would be about 30, 40 of us. Yep. We lit the club like that. Yeah, pulling up 1,000 folks with us. So yeah, that was dope. You know, that's what we did. You know, that was part of, you know, us really believing in what we had going on and letting the world know. And having all them folks participate. That was a blessing. Yeah. Before social media, we create our own social media.
I love it. Yeah, we need to get back to that though.
Hey, we used to be on the road, going up and down the East Coast, Texas, Memphis, everywhere. We didn't make it out to Cali in the cars, but we had folks that, you know, would leave like you did and, you know, take all our stuff out to Cali. So that was cool. Yeah. Real dope. So yeah, that was the label, bro. And we were self-contained. You know, it was a lot of people that used to come across and be like, come to the office, man, can't put me down, whether it was Tip, whether it was NDRE, Pastor Troy. But, you know, we knew that we couldn't, you know, we were new to what a label was. We didn't know a lot, so we wasn't going to just be like, yeah, y'all need to come with us. We didn't kick it like that. And people really took it like we was on some standoffish, but it was just really out of respect for folks. Because we were learning about what a label is or how to do a label. So, you know, we was all brand new to it. Yeah.
So that's there trying to play with people.
Well, I know your mixes have been all around the world. I mean, your mixes, like you have people from all around the world that are fans of yours. How do you from let's start off with the cassette tape, the transition from the cassette tape of a DJ Jelly tape to a CD. In today's time when nobody's really buying physical copies, the art that you do on those mixtapes, do you feel that in today's time when everything is MP3, you get that same, anybody that's listened to your mixes that you do, they get that same fulfillment than how you guys started off in the beginning from the tapes and the cassettes, where people will come and say, yo, I want the CD and put it in a CD deck, versus listen to a mix that Jelly did on a loose MP3?
I mean, I mean, for me, the reaction is always good. That is the same enthusiasm as it was back in the day. If they hear it on the streaming site, the mixtapemobster.com site now, and make a comment on Facebook, it's just a different way of, getting to me. Back in the day, I could see them and give them the CD, and get that response. Hey, man, I listened to it. Or they hit me up on Facebook. So that's dope. I love it.
Oh, wow. There you go. I seen all the covers right there. DJ Jelly. Oh, well,
he's just staying with the time. He's changing as the technology changes, what you have to do to stay relevant.
And thank God the people are able to get it, access it, whether they go to a flea market or where they can just get on their phone and go to mixtapemobster.com and, hey, I'm listening. It's jamming, dog. Same response. That's a beautiful thing.
Do you still have that same demand today? Is the demand still there?
Yes. And what's crazy now is that, you have people like, man, back in the days I used to get it, like, man, you still making it, so you got people that have not connected no more, or new people that's discovering it. So that's a whole nother wave now. So that's a blessing. That's like a whole different wave.
Some of the artists that you've helped, and follow me, because a lot of DJs nowadays say they break records, and I kind of like laugh. I'm like, how can you break a record if you only in one spot? You feel me?
Yeah.
You have to have a major influence or have some kind of outlet to really like break a record. Like Jelly is known to break a record, like DJ Jelly, because I know the mixtapes, the whole distribution network you guys had, that it was real extensive. So all the artists that you've probably had on your mixtape, those artists, do you feel if they wasn't on your mixes that you put out back then, they would have had the success that they grown to have in the future? Or do you feel that they would have still made it without you co-signing them on your mixtapes?
I mean, that's hard to say, but I just know that we had a lot of influence on the whole sound of Atlanta. So saying that in itself is just a lot, because we're part of the whole process. So I think everybody who's been involved with any artist that's come out of Atlanta in the last 20 years, I think everybody's important part of that process. You can't have nobody without, you just can't cut L.A. Reid out the process. You just can't cut Jermaine Dupri. You just can't cut Tobago at DBS Sounds. You can't just cut Sir Classic. Everybody's a part of that build of that foundation and those arteries. So you can't cut nobody out. So yeah, you're right. You just can't. It's hard to say that you can take that one person out of the equation and that artist will survive. You got to keep all those people in that equation, period, including us.
Oh, you definitely been a big influence. We know you a legend. Do you have any personal favorite DJ that you look up to, or I mean, not, somebody that's...
Yeah, I go down the line of the list. I mean, everywhere from Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, to Jazzy Jeff, to Kid Capri, to DJ Premier. There's a lot of DJs that enjoy. Scratch Bastard, DJ JC. There's a lot of people that I like. DJ A-Track. A lot.
Well, if you could work with one of them right now, who would it be?
If I could work with them, I work with most of them. I guess Premier probably is definitely one I would want to. Premier Capri. Okay. Yeah. But most of all the other ones I've done parties with and all that stuff. But yeah, Premier Capri, definitely.
I believe I've seen you. If correct me wrong, I think you was on the same bill that Capri was on before.
No, we kicked it. You know, I ran into each other. You know, kick it, chop. We chop it up all that phone. Hey,
but I've never been booked on the same.
No.
Oh, okay. No. I thought I saw you guys on the bill because I know I was somewhere before and I saw Capri DJing. And if I can remember, I seen Jelly. I was like, I don't know, but I remember seeing Capri, him doing his thing. He was on stage, getting, doing how he do, and wow. Let me ask you this. Let's just talk about the South. You're primarily Southern style, as we all know. Let's talk about the sound of Houston. I'm a big fan of the chopped and screwed sound.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Watts.
Yeah.
The legendary DJ Screw, rest in peace. That sound of the chopped and screw, when you was doing your mixes, the style you do it, and you hearing how Screw and Michael Watts and OG Ron Cedar was doing that style, did you ever say, you know what, let me try that particular style when you doing your thing? Did you ever did it ever come to your mind on doing it?
No, not really. Not and I enjoyed what they did. Shouts out to Paul Wall, who really got me. I always was on it, but he used to come and kick it with me in my store. And because they could really rap, and a lot of them cats really can spit. So that's how I really got into it. But the style of the DJ technique, I never really wanted to get into it like that. I was just like, man, they doing their thing. Mike, shouts out, they doing their thing, and I just kind of left it at that.
Oh wow. Let's speed it up. Where's some of the all the artists that you guys had on Big I know you guys, like you said earlier, Baby D, Intoxicated, Loco the Lunatic.
Yeah, he is still around. Like I said, we wrapped up his project recently, so we're about to do the marketing campaign on that. All the other artists, Sam is locked up. He's been locked up for a minute. Intoxicated, they chilling. Loco chilling, until we do like a reunion or something. And other than that, everybody is pretty much chilling.
We got to get into the history. We got to get into them 2 hits. Well, you guys gave us some local hits, the East Side, West Side, Lil C, Baby D. Right. But let's talk about the 2 major hits. Let's talk about, and I want to know where Jelly was at, huh?
What, Walk It Out?
Walk It Out and 2-Step. You already know 2-Step and Walk It Out. Where was your role in that? I know you was around. You talk about we talk about Freddie B and Monte. Where was Jelly at when I know you was there, but what role did you play in all that?
Basically the whole time consulting and coaching DJ Unk. He would go on the road with me. He was doing the mixtapes with me at that time. He was doing the chop and screw stuff. Like we got a couple.
I didn't know that.
Like he was into it. But he was basically up under my wing that whole process leading up to when we actually started making the album. So the whole time.
Did you guys knew when he recorded those records that you guys had a hit?
Huh?
When those records were being created, did y'all know that they was gonna be hit?
Dude, it took us 2 years to get Walk It Out there like that. 2 years. It didn't pick up till 2 years later.
So y'all worked.
You play it in the club now, it still goes.
It was like it was a top #1 record by an independent label. So that was a big feat in itself. That was huge.
Back to back.
Because we released records 2 years, like it came out real big 2007, but we released it 2 years before that.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So we were in the streets working the record for 2 years.
Wow.
Literally. So it was work. Then 2-Step just fell on in because everybody was, obviously with that one hit that came on in. Boom.
Wow.
Yep. And after that, DJ Monte, who did a lot of the production, ended up doing the Flow Rider.
T-Pain. Let's talk about that. Like, you guys have produced some hits now.
Yeah. It was, that record was floating around for about a year and a half. It was a lot of people trying to get on it. Juvenile, Well, Paul Wall, they applied, like people used the record but just didn't find the right thing, and it had T-Pain on it, but Flow Rider just fell on in. And we had that record out for a while. Like different artists were trying to use it. They're like, I don't want that record. They just and it had T-Pain on the hook.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, the Flow Rider just fell on in the right way. So we ended up producing the Flow Rider song and the Sugar, so his follow-up.
Oh, so I didn't know that one. I know the
Sugar was major. It was more pop. Sugar was very pop, very crossover and all that type of rhythmic station and stuff. It was a big pop record. Yep. So, we never stopped. We've done everything from Jeezy to, man, a little bit of everybody, man. All kinds of folks, man. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. And again, shouts out to Monte, because he's got Shantae, his new artist, that's getting a little steam right now. He's been building with, so that's been real good. So it's a whole new, again, like I said, it's a whole nother chapter in Big Room Records that's about to unfold. It's about to go down.
As I'm here.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
No, I'm good. I think you froze. You did that little, I don't know.
No, I was just thinking when you were talking, I was just sitting there thinking about because you guys is steady going and it's so much, because it's not just the mixtapes. I was sitting there just thinking about, I don't want to take it off of Jelly because I was getting ready to go into the Monte, but I'm like, nah, I'm not talking to Monte. We're talking to Jelly because I forgot how much, like you said, Monte, his new female artist, was it Shantae Renee?
Well, I'm involved with that process as well, as far as getting it out, as far as, connecting with other DJs, letting them hear the sound. Like, all that's important. Like, it continues to be a team, and it is what it is. People got to realize that. That's how we've been able to survive.
Where do you see DJ Jelly, Lordsville, the next 5 years?
Continue to take care of more artists and create more shows for artists. That's been my thing too. Like I said, with the whole festival thing, I've been involved with, like, literally since after the Freaknik, the whole 559 era. I used to throw a lot of shows. I've done a lot of concerts. I'm promoted a lot for a lot of artists. I've created shows. I worked with Red Bull for about 5 years, creating shows and things. So that kind of thing I love to do. Like creating those shows for those artists, especially a lot of upcoming artists. I love that type of stuff. Period. And hopefully we'll be getting up out of this funk in the next year or two so we can get back to that.
I hope so.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Before we go,
yes, sir.
I want to touch on Atlanta. We know that you're one of the tastemakers, pioneers of the Atlanta music scene, and some of the artists that's going on today, that's coming out. Let's just go off of, do you feel that the ones that are from Atlanta, they're representing Atlanta to, in the right way to the rest of the world? Some of the artists that are coming out, like, you remember when T.I. first came out, he talked, he repped Atlanta, JD repped Atlanta, everybody repped Atlanta. Like, now with the artists that come out, do you feel that they're doing the same thing?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Lil Baby, one of the biggest artists, I definitely feel he does. He ain't got to beat him in the head no more like we had to back then, but he definitely, he repped the A 100%. 100%. And then, the situation that's going on now with today's music is just the fact that you have so many artists that they can be from England and New Jersey and they rap just like they're from Atlanta. That's what becomes confusing. So, but like I said, especially Lil Baby being that he's probably the biggest young new artist, he definitely reps it. He definitely reps the A.
Okay. For those that that are watching, before we go, you got any, want to tell everybody where they can keep in touch with you? Or?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely hit me on my social media outlets at The Real DJ Jelly, TheReal DJ JELLY. That's on IG and Twitter. Make sure you go to our site, mixtapemobsters.com. That's mix, MIX, tape, TAPE, mobsters, MOBSTAZ.com. That's where you can go ahead and stream all the mixes from the early 90s to now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so you guys have the website.
We archive that thing on the regular. Like we got, man, thousands and thousands of CDs. We haven't put everything on it, but we kind of, curated all through the year. The site's been out like a year now. So we shout to everybody that subscribed already. This past summer, we had a whole free subscription that just ended a couple of days ago. So it's been dope. Been a good journey.
So people can hear, like, if they want to listen to your new stuff and the old stuff, they can go to the website.
The site and just stream it. You can be in your phone, your car, wherever you want to be, and just jam to it on your computer. All that great stuff. Also, too, we talk about physical copies right quick. We've been selling them on USBs too, so that's like a new crack. So people actually
crack.
Hey, they can stick it in their computer in their car. It's a wrap. They good.
Crack. Wow.
Yeah. They're like, wow. We've been like, wow. But man, that whole thing been a blessing, man. And to be here damn near 30 years is a blessing. Like I thank everybody that helped us, that continues to help us, support us, the good and the bad. I appreciate everybody.
So we gonna have a DJ Jelly beer coming out. Like what's good?
DJ Jelly beer? No, not yet. But who knows? You never know. Something can happen 2 weeks from now. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be on deck and ready for it. The mind always gonna be open to do stuff. So as the opportunity presents itself, or if I create one, something to happen, I'm with it. This is gonna happen.
We got to let them know one more time, November 1st, Bonfire.
It'll be at Bonfire. It'll be the Weirdo Fest production at Bonfire. That's a event that, again, we got different types of all kind of different, weird, and strange artists that'll be performing. So we're doing that at Bonfire November 1st. So, it'll be Miss Lip's pre-birthday bash.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we definitely got to be checking that out. Well, it's been I
am very grateful to have had this interview with you. Like I said, man, you one of the reasons I was on board to come to Atlanta. I was like, no, we're never moving Cali. Then I got here and I was like, oh shoot, wait, this is what they do in Atlanta? Oh man, wait, this is
Hey, but and Miss Lips, I'll have that bottle of water ready for you for your birthday. You know what I mean? We'll toast it up with the water.
I appreciate it. I sure appreciate it. I can't wait.
All right, that's what's up, bud. Sir Classic.
Yes. We appreciate you, and we definitely gonna have I know definitely myself, I'm gonna have my eyes open and ears open to see what DJ Jelly got coming up. And just keep inspiring, man. I want you to keep inspiring, and we appreciate you. And hey, on that note,
get us some stuff to promote for that Weirdo Fest as it gets closer to time. We'll do our part to make sure it's out there, shared. Yeah, if we need to come out there, cover some stuff, you got it.
That'll work. That'll be tight too. We need to set up y'all podcast.
Okay.
Right.
I think that'll be tight.
Okay, and there you guys have it. DJ Jelly.